The move from Bassai Sho, where we hook, bring the arms around and throw the hands out like this. So we're going to take a situation where we're in quite close. We're going to have the kind of attack that we might realistically expect, which we'll take to be the hook, but in truth it could be that we're already in here and grappling. So the hook comes and we want to stop it, and that's not really part of the kata, that's just common sense, don't get hit. From here we go and do our kataroi. So first part of the move is to raise the knee. That one should be quite obvious. And then we scoop the leg. Well, as we scoop the leg, it could be here, or it could be on the outside here. The hands come up nice and high, and we clamp down, turning the face away and buying us a second to prevent that other hand from coming in. That's then pulled all the way round, and then you've got choices. Do we simply cast him aside, or do you go to work with striking, or maybe double strike, out to here? So those are the simplest ways that we can look at the move. We pull in and hook, pull in, and then we're working with the hands. So from here, if it is the big hook that comes, this could of course be the start of the move, just on the other side of the body. I might be using this one to block and this one to strike on the way through, which means that I've already discarded the hooking of the leg for that first one. If I've done that, then this hand's coming back in the back of the head here, which is a very useful place to do. As we hit down there and bring that into there, we get this lovely face bar, and again I'm turning the face away from me, so he's not looking at me and therefore less likely to use that other hand. Then from here, as we get to the koshi gamai, the hip posture or hip guard here, then we work straight back out. Now, a couple of things. We could go for a simple discard, right? Get rid of the man. But I quite like the idea, because if you bring this up and then you hook this down, then we start to stretch the man out this way. And if I come over the top of the shoulder here, then we get a really rather, so I'm getting tapped, so we just let that off for a second. A really rather nasty brace. Right, so what I'm doing there is that having pulled the head down, one hand is underneath the head and the other hand is on top. This hand then goes out to do that lower arm punch. But what I'm doing is I'm going under the jaw and over the shoulder. Now that on its own is probably nasty enough. Right? Anytime you try and separate jaw and shoulder the wrong way, you're going to do something very, very bad to the person's neck. However, just by pulling on their arm to open that up, you create a counter lever, right, to go against their shoulder. So I'll try and show you once again. So we're in here, and this is the stop, and this is an impact, and that's just going to buy you the second you need to make a second impact and bring that head down. Now, as you bring the head down, you turn the face away. As you do that, we're sending the hand out, and you can see that arm starts to rise anyway. So he starts to give it to me, and I go, thank you very much. And then as this goes out, instead of letting him come through here, we're just going to keep that and set it there instead. Right, so this is pulling this way. The further out I need to pull this away from me, the better the action on the shoulder. I've let the head come up above my shoulder here for safety. Ideally, we keep that locked down, sorry, there's a tap again, to make that work in a very, very nasty fashion. So all that occurs. If I could get the kick in first, that would be great. The thing is, if I get the kick in first, I probably don't have to worry too much about the punch. So if we're out here and I go and take the leg, then we get that, and we've got the man moving one way. Maybe I still need this, maybe I still need this, maybe I then need this. So this is this kind of action shooting out to the sides. If you want to take it a step further, could that also be one of these? Well, if you take that arm and bend it back on itself, then yes. Trouble is, we're getting very, very convoluted here. But some of you will be working in a way that your training partner can do that. What I'd say is, if you're doing that, let the head out so that you're not doing that part of the move at the same time, because it's just too much. Let me see if I can show you a little bit of it. We're into here like this. As we pull the head down and get the koshigamai, the hip posture, I'm sending this hand out and bringing the hand up. Just going to let Zach's head come up here. From here, if I bring this up this way, then we pass it out so that we're making that low X block, either keeping that in there or snaking that one through to make that into a really nasty little hold. At the same time, you're saying, well, he's still got a hand free. Believe me, he's more worried about the strain on his shoulder up here on the rotator cuff and the joint of the pectoralis minoris to the shoulder muscles than he is about what happens with this other hand. Plus, it's kind of pinned against my body as it goes anyway. We just take a straight punch view of the same thing. So if we're working traditionally like this, I might well just do this, and that would get me one version. But as soon as you do that, you've got that sort of same feeling as you get in Teki or Jion. There's nothing wrong with just making that the mirror of it and just working out that way. Now that's heading towards that same idea. All we do then is make sure that that head is looking the wrong way to prevent the other hand from coming in as we do it. If I then take this, fold it and set through here, and we just keep that head as we make that low X block, and we shove that out to the side as well. Now, that's a swan neck or gooseneck lock there. If I go for the index finger knuckle, we get that. The elbow's braced against the inside of my arm. We can always add a little bit more leverage by pushing this through here, which is a little bit different to the leverage you get if you do it here. This is now all on the wrist. Whereas if I go this way, obviously there's still some of the strain set on the neck. So this is when you kind of double up on your effects by working your way through the mat. Now this is of course taking it that you've got two people of similar kind of size. If he's much, much bigger than you, the chances are you won't get that arm all the way around his neck anyway. So that gives us just a couple of ways of looking at this kind of posture, and I tried to show you that from there we could probably link in one of these. Of course, if you lift it, it looks like that up high, and you start to see how it's actually just points of contact that we make with another person and how we get there. Little things that we can add to it just before we finish. When I'm making the scoop, if I take the inside of the leg, I'm trying to use my heel and trying to bring it up. I'm either going just above the knee, just here, or I go for the right dead centre of the middle of the inside of the thigh. Or if it's the other leg, if I've gone to the outside, then of course we're looking at the dead leg point halfway up the outside of the thigh, just for effect there. What happens if you miss? Well, you catch the knee anyway, so we're not particularly phased if it doesn't quite go exactly where we want it. Thank you.